Hopefully this will work here. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Sullivan Project Podcast. I'm here with Dan. I'm gonna try to get that till up. We get there a little bit. Is it working?
You got it set up.
Yeah, but I think I can. Oh well. It's right at my face somewhere, right? Is it right at my face somewhere?
Let me see. I'll put it on you. It's on your face.
Oh, well, we gotta leave it here then. So I can talk. Here, this ain't right back here.
I'll hold it. I'll hold it.
Huh?
I'll hold it.
Yeah, but I want you to come behind me so I can get you too.
I'll get me right now.
Oh, okay, you got you on video?
Yep.
All right, because if we accidentally bump anything, I won't be able to turn it on.
What do you want to do with it?
Here, just put it right here. All right. Is it back on me right here? Pretty good. Can you see it from that side?
I can see it from right here.
Is it on my face? Or you can put it up on that thing.
It's on your shirt.
How about you sit it up on top of that thing? That little tar thing.
Yes, it's on you.
Now you got it on my face a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, you can see me good?
Yeah.
All right, we'll leave it there for a few minutes. What's up, everyone? This is the first Sullivan Project podcast, live on location. We're down at Dan's. There's no elevator, so we're down in the community room in his apartment. And we got him on camera now. He's been on audio, probably like 20 episodes or so now, out of 160 something we've done. And he's one of the main reasons I started the podcast. So I'm going to talk to him a little bit here, and then we're going to sign off. So Dan, what's you enjoying every minute, every life, or every day of your life? Trying to. You got some. How's your mom doing? I brought you that oil, Tracy Lee, right? That's her mom.
Yeah, she's all right. She's doing radiation.
Yeah,
and,
she's almost done with it, right?
She has to go back to chemo, so.
Again?
Yeah, I don't know how good she's doing, but I'm just keeping the faith.
Yeah. Yeah, she was on the bus a couple of weeks ago, or last time when
I got to see my daughter for the first time in a couple of years.
Yeah, you were talking last time. You had spoke to her on the phone or whatever, and now you got to see her a few times.
Yeah.
And what, she's graduating?
Yeah, we text each other a lot.
18. Wow, Jesus. Yep. I think when I saw her, she was probably what, 10, 11?
Yeah, I don't know, probably around.
At the mall years ago.
Maybe like 8 or 9.
Yeah. But she looked like you and are you divorced now, or is it still like
separated?
So it's ex-wife, or just
separated.
Yeah. She looked like both of y'all put together, kind of.
Yeah.
And I just knew, I was like, oh man, that's awesome. She was running around, and y'all were doing family shopping and stuff. That's great, when you know someone young, and then all of a sudden they have kids. Like Danny, he got 2 under 2 years old.
You're the godfather.
I'm glad that I'm the godfather. I cried when he asked me to be. The first time I teared up, and the second time I just felt joy. You know what I mean? To both his kids. And he said, I guess his wife or ex-wife, I don't know. They've been off and on for 20-some years, or close to that. He said, she said that usually you don't ask the same person to be the godfather to more than one child. I said, why not? I don't know. It's just a tradition in Italian or whatever. I don't know. But he said I was, he just thought that I helped him when he was younger, and that I wouldn't, and I would help the kids any way I could, even if it wasn't much I would do. I could do it, and I appreciated that. He talked about the time where he never could sit down and watch movies and all that because of his ADD and ADHD and all that. So Star Wars was on, and that was like the first movie, The Phantom Menace. You remember that one?
Yeah.
That was the first one that he actually could sit down and watch, and I told him, I was like, just shut up and sit down, and you'll like the movie. And then he actually sat down and got it, and it was calm, and he said that helped him. He always remembered that he could sit and concentrate on something, And I didn't even know at the time I was, what I mean? I just was like, hey, you might like this movie. You can enjoy a movie. You don't have to be running around and go crazy. But when he was playing hockey, though, that was a good time for that, you know what I mean? Because he could run. He was like a rabbit boy. And I always wanted him on my team because I knew he wouldn't give up on plays. Danny would hunt someone down at the other end. Like a basketball point guard that's coming from behind and stealing the ball and all that. That's all he would have been. That's all he was when he was playing hockey.
Yeah.
So, and then we went to Minnesota years later. And I played in that wheelchair hockey league there. But so your daughter's doing good. And you know what? Is it? That was always one of my favorite names, Madison.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know, and then it didn't even dawn on me until you told me her name. But for some reason, I always liked that name since I was born. It's just odd. It's different, you know. It's like a pretty name or something. You know, I don't know if you. Where did you get it? Did you name or did y'all?
We named her, yeah.
Where did you pick her from though, or just a random like who?
Just a random name.
Just out of a book or?
No, just
Because sometimes they have baby
it's a
books.
popular name right now, Joey.
Well, no, she's 18 now though.
Yeah.
So that was almost 20 years ago. Yeah. So it's just pretty though, Madison.
Yeah.
And I just Madison what Avenue, right? Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
There's a couple famous things like that. There was a movie called Splash, I think, with Tom Hanks, where there was a mermaid.
Yeah.
Remember that? She came up on the land and had legs.
Yeah.
Daryl Hannah was in that.
Do that one, Joey. I'm gonna go up and get a tea.
Okay, I'm still talking. I'll record on here while you're up there.
You're gonna talk. I'm gonna.
I'll do my podcast stuff. Yeah.
Can I go up?
Yeah, it's on ring right now, right?
All right, yeah.
Okay. Yep. If y'all want to tune in old episodes of the podcast, we're on YouTube, Harold Sullivan 78, TikTok, Harold Sullivan 78, and Facebook, Harold Sullivan period 35. And you can call the show 724-513-1472 and email hs19782015 at outlook.com. Yeah, I got a bus to come up here. It's been a couple years since Dan and I got to actually hang out in person. But we do the podcast whenever he has time and he has a moment to just sit and talk a little bit. You know, the world is so busy and people just go, go, go. And even I'm like that a lot too. When I have the energy and I'm feeling good, I try to do as much work as I can as far as like just recording podcast episodes, like 4 or 5 you know, in a week. That way I got them if I don't feel good. But sometimes you gotta enjoy the seconds too and just stop and smell, you know, this or eat that, you know, good food, that extra bite and enjoy that, you know, that ripe banana or them strawberries, you know what I mean? And fruit is very good. The more I get, the more I want to have stuff like that comes from the ground or it comes from the earth, the planet, fruits, vegetables, you know what I mean? Not manufactured, pasteurized crap. And I feel better, but I mean, you just get used to the crap that you were doing. And then you want to do that, you want to eat that greasy stuff, or you want to drink or do alcohol or drugs. And it's a shame that we become accustomed to it, that we almost can't live without it. And then your body also reacts the wrong way when you try to do better and clean up. So, but we had a couple cameo celebrities. If you all check those out, and yeah, I brought a Tracy Lead oil. Limited time, I made essential oils I've been doing. If anybody wants those up or wants those, hit me up. I'll send out oils. I'll send out crystals, merchandise.
You still on her?
Yeah, we got hats and we got T-shirts. Yeah, I'm doing my whole thing. And yeah, I'll send those out if anybody wants them. Just pay for shipping. That's all I ask. I'm not selling nothing. But if you want merch, we got merch. And we like to say everyone has a story, and you can't judge a book by its cover, you know, because you will never know what someone's going through or what they've been through in their life. It's not like it's on their outside of their, you know, unless you can see their scars. And I like to say I love my scars, you know what I mean? We all got scars inside and outside, but that makes you different, right? That little scar from that place you fell or that surgery you had, that makes you you. Nobody else has that just like that. Just your fingerprint, you know. I heard once that the fingerprint is actually your soul's barcode. Think about that. Everybody's fingerprint's different, even twins.
You ready to close this down, Joe?
So, yep, I'm about to sign off of here, though. I love the choice and so is the hate. Here, just hit it out here for me.
I pressed the button by accident.
Go for it. Which one?
I don't know. Still on there.
All right, we got Chris here. What's up, Chris?
What's up?
Not much, like you said, we're just dealing with the heat out here in Pennsylvania. 90-some degrees and 80, high 80s. Today it rained over here. I don't know about there, but that makes it worse.
No, we didn't get none here yet.
We got a little bit of earlier, just a little bit. They said thunderstorms, yeah. Like Back to the Future Part 2, 5 minutes and then it's sunny out. Literally. But yeah, I got some questions here for you, and then I finished two more Psycho books. Figured I'd tell you about. I finished Psycho 2, and then Psycho House, and so I wanted to talk about a little bit what was different. So the movies are Psycho 1, 2, 3, and 4 is called The Beginning, right? Psycho 4, The Beginning, and that's the one where Norman calls up a radio show, which I liked it. I like all four of them actually because they're good stories, they're good plots, good acting, and then it's not like Elm Street and Texas Chainsaw and Friday the 13th, where there's so many movies. You know what I mean? There's four Psychos, and then the remake, but with Vince Vaughn. But there's just four, so it's not watered down so much. But Psycho 4, Norman calls a radio show, and he says he's going to kill again, I guess, right? And then so this lady keeps him, tries to keep him on the phone, and then he just talks about his childhood and growing up and like the past movies and stuff. So it was kind of cool to get Norman's view of stuff, and Anthony Perkins, of course. He died young too, right? Didn't he get the AIDS? Was it HIV? I think. Jesus.
Yeah, he had HIV.
So he was really only known for playing Norman Bates, right? But he died. He wasn't very old when he died. But so Psycho 1, where everybody knows about. Psycho 2, what was that? That was what's her name, sister and niece, right? Trying to bait Norman into killing again or provoke him, right? In the second one, something like that. Uh, what was the girl that got killed in the first one in the shower right away? Psycho. Was it Marion Crane, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Marion Crane in the shower. Yeah.
And her sister was in the second one, right? She came back and she was trying to. There's always a twist to make you think it's Norman or it might not be Norman. And then the third one had a nun, right? She was running away, and she ended up at the motel, whatever. Motels on one floor, hotels more than one, I guess. And then the fourth one, like I said, is Norman calling up saying he's about to kill again. So the book, Psycho 1, we talked about already, it's pretty much just Psycho. Now, Psycho 2, it just went way different. Remember I told you, some nuns came to visit Norman, he's in the asylum. He doesn't get out years later, like in the movie. After 20 years, they let him loose, and they said he's okay or whatever. In the book, he's still in there, but he kills one of the nuns and takes her outfit, and so he actually escapes right in his van. So Norman's driving as a nun, and he's dressed as a nun going back to Fairview or wherever they're from. And in the meantime, the Bates house has been burnt down, and the motel's gone. So the book is different. They wrote themselves kind of into a corner, right, where they burnt down the house. There's no more house there. So what are they going to do? Anyway, it's a plot where they're going to be making a movie instead about the Bates killings and stuff. So the killer, I'm going to say, quote, killer ends up going and killing some people, actors, actresses that are trying to make this movie. And then I'm going to say spoilers. At the end, it turns out it's not even Norman. All right, and Norman dies in the car in that vehicle, but they found a dead body and it was burnt, and they thought it was a hitchhiker that he had picked up, but they find the hitchhiker later. Tell me some of this doesn't sound like Halloween, right? With the burnt body, and they think it's Michael Myers. Okay, there's actually some matches that they found, and then there's a sign to the doctor, because the doctor's the one that knows where Norman's going. It's almost like Dr. Loomis. So I mean, you can't tell me John Carpenter didn't read the Psycho books before he made some of these movies, because the ideas are right out of Psycho. Remember the Red Rabbit in the matches that Dr. Loomis found, right? So he knew.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, well, they find matches in Psycho. And then Psycho House, which is the third Robert Bloch book, is basically, after all that now, let me tell you who it was at the end. It ends up being one of the doctors. He became so obsessed with Norman that he kind of took over as Norman at the end. So it was a doctor the whole time killing people in Psycho 2. And then Psycho House, basically some guy wants to get rich in town, so he rebuilds the house as close as they can to the original, and he wants to charge people to go there and see it, like it's an attraction, right? And then they rebuild some of the motel with the shower room, the lobby, and in the lobby when you hit the bell, there's a little there's a wax thing of Norman that turns around and talks and says a couple things. Like, talk about creepy, right? So they plan on opening up this wax, exhibit in Psycho House, the book. And then, of course, there's some killing starts. And then a demonologist shows up later on, right? Because he's trying to explain this whole thing that Norman is actually a demon. And a demon went into Norman. It might have been in his mother's, and then his mother's boyfriend, and then him. And then when he died, it went into the doctor. And you know what I mean? I don't know. It's weird. There's just too many characters and too much like stuff in the book, the two books, part two and Psycho House. So I can see why they didn't go that way with the movies, because it would have been like a comic book. Like, it's just too much. So you got all these people. It's like, who is the killer? And in the meantime, a lady's coming in there because she wants to write a story about what really happened. And so she's not even old enough to have been alive when these killings happened, but she's going around getting all these details of people in town. And the doctor, and it's like the doctor ends up strangling another doctor, and he almost gets killed, both of them, so she can't go. It's crazy, all these details. And I'm still not sure who the killer was at the end. I think it ended up being a sheriff or the deputy to a sheriff, because they always make it look like somebody else is the killer, and there was just too much. So Psycho House, I mean, they're both good, but when they make it like 5 or 6 people could be the killer, and then you don't really know, and then at the end they bring it all together, kind of. It's a little confusing. So, but that was Psycho, all 3 Psycho books by Robert Bloch, the original writer. So I figured I'd tell you about that. You know what I mean? It sounded interesting, right? I mean, of course, the first one, you read the first one, right?
Yeah, I have the book. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good. But the other ones are not nowhere near that. The first one's so creepy with Mother. You know how he does it's a Mother, and it's very creepy. But after that, it's definitely different than the movies. So I got a couple, stuff for Stumped or Stringer, or more like games of like if you can answer certain questions. So, how? Hey, are you ready? You ready?
Well, I'm just talking to my mom for a minute.
Okay. Yeah, you ready for the Stump the Stringer questions?
Yeah, stop the stringers.
Yeah. That's a little thing we got here. A horror icon chat. Oh, plus it's your birthday too, right? In a couple of days here after we
Wednesday.
record this. So, about 48 now?
Yeah, I'll be 48.
Okay. So, yeah, like I said, we got over 100 years of movie knowledge. Mostly horror movies between us, right? That's a lot, though. Think about 100. How many movies have we seen between us? And I've heard since I've been blind 3 years, but I'm still listening to them. I ain't quitting. So first couple are probably easy. All right, Freddy Krueger has a song. Of course, everybody knows it's 1, 2, buckle my shoe. It's a ripoff of that, right? Okay, so can you sing the lyrics complete the Freddy song? You know all the words.
Yeah.
Okay, well there you go. That's the first question.
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your door. 5, 6, grab your crucifix. 7, 8, better stay up late. 9, 10, never sleep again.
Okay, and then now there's another part. In part, what is it? New Nightmare, where they changed the last couple words to a different verse. 9, 10. That's a clue. 9, 10. Actually, what's her name might have said it too in part 3, I think. Or 10. No, it was part 10. I can't remember. It wasn't. You probably can tell me which one it is, or not part 10, but New Nightmare or part 3. 9, 10 instead of what is it? 9, 10. Never sleep again, right? And then there's another 9, 10. Da 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 da. There's another couple words. In one of the other movies, they say it again.
And what other movie was that?
I think it was either part 3, Dream Warriors, or New Nightmare. But it's
I think it was a New Nightmare, wasn't it?
9, 10. He's back again, right?
No, that was a Dream Child.
Dream Child. Okay, that was a little boy.
9, 10, he's back again.
Yeah, the little boy Jacob, who wasn't even born yet. But you know what? Babies and unborn babies do sleep. So that was weird. It was an odd movie, part 5 of Dream Child. But her baby was dreaming of Freddy in her tummy, or was dreaming, and then so Freddy got in through that. But that babies do dream apparently in the womb. I didn't know. That's weird how the mother and the child like linked together and could dream probably the same dreams or back and forth and okay, so those two there, 910 never sleep again and 910 he's back again. Both creepy though, right? The little boy came out 910 he's back with that raspy. He was
Yeah,
trying
I
to do.
showed the little girl in the park. Yeah.
Yeah, he was trying to do. Actually, wasn't part five? Was it? That was New Nightmare, wasn't it?
That's part 5.
Oh, it was. The little
Yeah.
girl in the park.
Yeah.
Because part New Nightmare was whenever Nancy or Heather's son climbed up on the thing and was going to jump.
Yeah.
And that was another
That
creep.
was part 5. Where the little girl said 910 he's back again. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what was I going to say? Okay, how about cameos? And Freddy's Dead. We'll start with Freddy's Dead. Actually, there was.
Alice Cooper was in that, wasn't he?
Okay, Alice
Yeah.
Cooper. Okay, what about on the TV screen? When Spencer was all tripped out or watching in the God of David, all the colors in that song was playing. A commercial came on. This is your brain.
Yeah.
This is your brain on drugs.
On drugs.
Yeah, who was it?
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp. And Freddy comes out, looks like a frying pan and some eggs to me. What is he on? Something like that. Okay, what about part 3, Dream Warriors? Same thing on the television.
Dick Cavett and Zsa Zsa Gabor.
There you go. See, most people wouldn't know that. Zsa Zsa and Dick Cavett. Yeah, Freddy turns, Zsa Zsa turns into Freddy. And then New Nightmare, when there's there's a funeral, right? The funeral for Chase, I think it was. And there's a cameos by some of the actors from the past movies and actresses, right? In the crowd, there's a couple of them. Can you remember any of the names? In the funeral, in the crowd?
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Whenever Chase was there, of course, Robert Englund and John Saxon were there because they were in the movie. And then I believe wasn't Tuesday Night maybe sitting in there. There was a couple of them, and I know Jesus Garcia that we got recently.
Yeah, it was Tuesday night. Yeah.
Yeah, and Rod to play Rod. There might be more, but he was at recently on.
New Nightmare. Rosie O'Donnell was in that. Remember that?
No, she was in Freddy's Dead.
Yeah.
Her and
She said, I want my children back, and he goes,
Yeah.
you know they bring him.
Her and Tom Arnold. I'd like to get him on. He's on that cameo. Maybe one day I'll get him on the podcast because he was in Freddy's Dead, so he's part of the. And that'd be cool to talk to him and see if he's had any supernatural experiences or any of that. Tom Arnold, he's getting old now, but yeah. So at least 2 of the actors, Tuesday Night, who played. Who did she play? She played Kirsten in part 4, and then Jay Sue Garcia, who played Rod Lane in the first Elm Street. I believe those 2 are in there as far as cameos. So. Yeah, I think that's the questions I had about the horror movie stuff. Unless you're a big fan, you wouldn't really know, but we do. You know what I mean? What about any mistakes? Can you pick out any mistakes in any of the movies? Of course, at the end of the first one, you can tell it's a doll that they're pulling through the door, right? When it's Nancy's mom, and Freddy pulls that blow-up doll through the window. It was so corny. It's supposed to be him pulling her through that little hole in the door, but it looks like a blow-up doll, Nancy's mom.
Nancy's mom gets pulled through the door.
Yeah, they actually cut 3 of the endings. They had 3 different endings. One where they drive off fine. One where Nancy's mom gets pulled in, and one where Freddy's takes the car over, and then the top of it has like red and green stripes. So they put all 3 of the endings together to make the first movie, because Wes Craven didn't want to leave it open. He didn't want to make a sequel, and he didn't want to leave it open. And the company's like, no, we have to leave it. There has to be possibly a sequel. You know how that is. But I believe in the first one, whenever Freddy goes down the steps and he's on fire in the basement, you can see a mattress. They didn't cut it out very well, real quick, because he's supposed to fall on the mattress. The guy's on fire, and you can see it in one of the scenes there. So the next time you're watching it, or anybody else at home, check it out. It's somewhere in the scene when Freddy's on fire. He goes down in the basement, and then there's a mattress. He's off camera that he's supposed to fall on, and then you can see it because they didn't cut it out. And also, Evil Dead 2, in the basement, right? There's a Freddy glove hanging up in the background. It was an homage that they threw in there. Sam Raimi. So whenever they go down to get the pages from the Book of the Evil Dead in the cellar with what's his wife, the wife's name, the doctor who found the book, the professor Noby, I think was his name, Henrietta or something.
Henrietta.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
man playing that character. It was, I think it might have been Sam's brother, Ted Raimi, who's actually on an episode of Supernatural. Ted Raimi, Sam Raimi's brother, was on the show.
Evil Dead too.
Yeah. That was a bad
That
play. Wasn't that
was funny,
creepy?
that movie.
Yeah, when the eye came out, man, and she wanted to do, was it Ash's mouth that went in? Or one of the other guys, I can't remember, but the eye flew out and went in his mouth when he stepped on. I think it might have been Scotty's mouth, and I can't remember. Or whoever it was in the second one, because they remade it in the second one. It was like a remake of one. But then, and then A Nightmare on Elm Street, Nancy was watching Evil Dead on TV, right? In one of the scenes.
Yeah, it was the first one.
Yep, and then that's why in part 2 of Evil Dead, they threw Freddy's glove in the background to do an homage. And then, of course, in Jason Goes to Hell, we have the big one where the dude, what's his name? Shoot. The boyfriend, Jason's niece's boyfriend, supposed to be whatever the hell his name was. I think his name was Steven in the movie. Picks up the Book of the Dead inside the Jason's book.
He's reading it, and then
Yeah, the Voorhees mansion. Where did they get a mansion from, right?
then Campbell comes in, and then then Josh comes in and passes on
the
the
demon.
Hell Baby to him.
Yeah, I didn't like that whole demon dropping body things and Jason Goes to Hell. Trying to say Jason's some giant worm that just goes, that didn't make sense to me. But they did it on purpose. They wanted to make it different, try to piss off some people, quote unquote. But that was a cool, homage that was in there, you know what I mean? But where did the Voorhees mention? I mean, they never mentioned that Jason's mom even had a house before, right? I mean, she had a house, but all of a sudden she has a mansion in part 9. The Voorhees mansion, right? And they knew how to find it and everything. And there was all that stuff still in there, That's just odd. But my favorite parts were when Kane Hodder, he was only in there for like 2 or 3 scenes, right? The beginning and then the end of it. But that was the best part. And I liked it when he was in that jungle gym. And that dude, Jason's trying to get in but he's hiding like inside of a freaking jungle gym. And Jason's got to reach through and he's trying to, he put a pretty good fight up too. I mean, because if really Jason could have just grabbed that dude, pulled his arms off of his head, right? Kane Hodder, there's no match for him. I think the girl in part 7 was the best match. The psychic girl, Again, these don't sound like real movies, but yeah, a psychic girl fought Jason with telekinesis, and she fried him and hung him and bashed things over his head, and she gave him a better fight than Freddy, of course, because Freddy in real life can't do anything. And then Freddy in the dream world's unbeatable, so what are you going to do? But the girl, Laura Park Lincoln, right? Which I'm going to try to get her on the podcast, too.
You said she was in a car accident or
Yeah,
something, yeah.
I contacted her recently and to get on the podcast, and she said give her maybe a month or so because she was in an accident or something. I'm like, Jesus. I was in the hospital, she was in an accident. We're all going through stuff, But hey, we're here now. That means we got to do something, so. Did you have any questions or you got any horror? Have you seen any previews for any horror movies or any news on that you got on Halloween or anything coming up?
No, nothing on Halloween, no.
Just since the last time I told you about Halloween, that they might do a TV show now, right, and a movie. So I don't know how that's going to go. Scream didn't work really well, even though I thought it could have. They just didn't do it right on MTV. You know what I mean? And they've been talking about actually a Hellraiser, which I don't think I mentioned. I mentioned it like a year or 2 ago. But they've been talking about Hellraiser on like HBO, or not HBO, Showtime or Cinemax, one of them paid. Well, that could be good too, but they got to get Doug Bradley back, man. There was one, or I don't know, 2 with that new guy in it, and it's not the same. You can't just put makeup on a guy and have him be Pinhead. I'm sorry. And I met Doug Bradley in the convention once, and he's just older. He was thin, British, balding guy. Yeah, he has an accent. I think it might be British. He wasn't scary at all, though. I mean, nothing like that guy in that movie with the black eyes and the white skin and the pins coming out of his. The movies were just sick. You know what I mean? Just ugh. To the eyes. You know what I mean? Like it just made you just sick when you watched them. But you could do an hour-long TV show just like they did all that movies. Each movie was like a different episode, kind of with the blocks. They could do that if they do it right. But I don't know. And Child's Play, they messed that up. The first season was decent, and I didn't even check out the last couple because it just was too much. So.
I tried the first season. I really didn't like it.
Yeah. Well, I liked the beginning because you got Andy coming back, and then you had that girl from part 3, right? But I think they killed her off. Spoilers. And they were both hunting. And then what? There's too many daggone Chuckies in every damn. There's 600 Chucky dolls. Some of them ain't got no heads. It just they're like the Three Stooges running around. Some of them are stupid. Like I guess because when he splits up more and more, they become dumber. I don't know. But the first Chucky is more intelligent than the other ones. It's just too confusing. And they're all Jennifer Tilly there. Like I don't get none of it. And his daughter from Curse of Chucky, and that's actually Brad Dourif's daughter in real life. You know that, right? The girl with the long red, like wavy hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's her name? She's a good actress though. Is it Sophia? Or, I can't remember. Something Dourif. And she does a good impression of him and talks and laughs just like him too. That's how whenever she was possessed in that one, was that Cult of Chucky? Curse of one of them. When she walks out in Chucky's body, or Chucky walks out in her body at the end and kisses Jennifer Tilly, and then she's talking and it's him in the body. It's almost unbelievable. You would think it was him, but it's not. It's actually her. So that's a little bit of knowledge for people. But so no more. Yeah, we don't have any horror stuff coming up. Well, we're gonna sign off. We both got heat. We got to put some fans on, huh? And relax a little bit because it makes you tiring, But we're gonna sign off with the podcast. And what do we like to say? Everyone has a story. You can't judge a book by its cover. Because you don't know what people go through when you just see them, or you meet them and you might not remember them, but they come in your life for 1 second. But everybody has a story, And I want to hear people's stuff. It doesn't matter if you think it's sad or it's happy. You know what I mean? Sad builds character though when you go through stuff. You know what I mean? People that don't go through stuff or don't have to fight for a lot of stuff tend to be certain ways, and because they just get everything they want, or they don't respect people or how tough it is. And then people appreciate things that haven't had anything, But we're all here for something, like I said. My dad used to tell me it takes all kinds, That was an old saying. So and I didn't know what that meant. And it just meant he accepted, hey, everybody is different. You know what I mean? That's how it should be. It doesn't mean it's right or wrong or good or bad. It's just we're all different. So love is a choice, though, and so is the hate. And we'll be back. Same bat time, same bat channel.
We'll be back, people.
We'll be back.
Everybody take care. Have a nice weekend.
Yep.